What up? 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 I gotta say maybe about 400 what up. So y'all bear with me because that's how much show we've missed over the months. But listen, man, we are here. It's Brooklyn Beards and Ball Sports Talk Show. Y'all know how we do still. Nothing ever changes because my co-host and I, we know how to pick up right where we left off. Of course, dynamics have changed. We are in a new NFL playoff season, but nevertheless, we're going to talk about it and we're going to get into all the stuff pertaining to the NFL as always. He's Don, I'm Rod. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. We are all on the platforms available to you. Make sure you watch us and listen to our breakdowns of the game. Listen, Don and I are the only ones, it's usually three of us. Shout out to our boy SKRAPP holding down Philly. And the one who's in the playoffs is actually not here. So, but the guys that are actually on the couch are here today. It's a little different, I'm usually would be gone by this weekend anyway. So by Monday, I'll pretty much be in this position in recent years. For Don, though, this is a little different, I'm sure. It's an adjustment for Don. Don is used to playing into at least February in most seasons, but it is what it is, guys. It's been a rough one for all of us, but we here, man. Don, what's good with you, bro? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Happy New Year to everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays to everyone. It has been, some time since we have last had our broadcast, but a lot has happened. Usually we are playing. Usually, plans are being made. And Rod likes this. Rod likes that, as they say, misery loves company. He loves that. Most people want better for their friends and brothers. Not Rod. He wants misery and company. He wants both. So he's very happy with this. And I wouldn't do this to him, but hey, here we go. He has his. He's loving it. Without further ado, let's get into it. Do you see how happy he is? Listen, this is the thing. Rod is so happy. It's ridiculous. Okay, so let's quickly talk because this is going to be a pretty power-packed show with information, but we got to kind of recap and then fly through. Let's talk since our last broadcast. A lot has happened, right? Coaches have been fired.
Yes.
Teams have just been eliminated.
Yes.
It's been pretty bad. We'll start with I'll start with the San Francisco 49ers. Very, disappointing season. Clearly not what we expected, not what we're accustomed to and used to.
Right.
But I think there is talk that perhaps that we will get Saleh back as our defensive coordinator. They cleared house with the special teams coach and the defensive coordinator, and they have some space. Now, there's also talk of Clint Kubiak being our offensive coordinator, which is going to be a little different because Kyle Shanahan is usually, our play caller. Now, what that could be, but what happened is by them trying to give him the position, it violated the Rooney Rule, right? They tried to just quickly say, "Oh yeah, we're going to make him the offensive coordinator,"
right?
And
right, because coordinators have to go through that process too, right?
Everyone the job has to be put up or offered, and people have to be interviewed, even if it's just going through the motions. As we know, it goes through the motions, right?
Right.
And so they're going to have to do that, right? Long story short.
Right.
What I'm getting from that, if Kyle Shanahan indeed is truly giving up, calling plays, he's on his last leg. If we don't perform next year, maybe they look for a different coach. They're going to, this is kind of, I think, the last leg of, hey, we've given you a superstar team. You've had players. Yes, this is a down season because of injuries. But clearly, I think if we can get the band back together as far as a defensive coordinator, and of course, health is really important, because if you're not healthy, you're not available, obviously you can't perform. Most importantly, let's be clear. I've been saying this for quite some time. Brock Purdy is not going to break the bank, not going to reset the market. I know Rod is saying he's going to get 70 million. People are saying, and our friend over the across the pond is saying he's going to pay him in euros and Bitcoin. He is not going to break the bank. The 49ers, let's just be clear. Historically, the 49ers don't ridiculous. They play hardball, even if you have a good season.
Yeah.
They play somewhat hardball. And I think from a standpoint of Brock Purdy, what he has showed, right? Since he's been a starter, obviously he's had tremendous success.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, they have to look from a fiscally responsible standpoint and say, hey, we can't give him that. He is not good enough, right? He has played well. He's played great. He's great for our system, but he's not the difference maker to reset the market. And I know the market is the market, but that applies within reason. Okay. So I don't even think, because now teams are having buyer's remorse. You don't think Jacksonville is looking at the contract that they gave to their quarterback? You don't think Miami's looking at, the Tua with his hips, Shakira, the hips don't lie. You don't think that they're looking at those teams and saying, wait a minute, if we see anything, if we squint our eyes and we don't see someone that deserves 55, 60 million, that we're not going to jump out the window? Now, keep in mind, Brock Purdy has played well above his draft status of, Mr. Irrelevant, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with a team overpaying, right? And if we're honest, yes, he has accuracy. He has shown mobility, but he doesn't have exceptional arm strength, okay? He doesn't have that. And we have seen a glaring defect in his game, and it is in inclement weather. For whatever reason, that ball has baby oil on it.
You talking about Purdy? You talking about Purdy?
Yeah. When it rains, if you've seen him in inclement weather, for whatever reason, the handling of the ball changes, the accuracy, he starts throwing ducks. This is the standpoint that I think the Niners are going to go with. Okay. How did you play when you didn't have all those plays? Because realistically speaking, if we give you a 4 or 5 year contract, you're not going to have all those players really beyond 2 years. Yes, they're going to have to retool and get new players to backfill, but you're not going to have the CMCs and the Trent Williams. And how long do you think you're going to have these great players? And depending on Ayuk's injury, how soon is he going to come back? Is he going to be, he might come back next season, but it might be week 6 or week 7. What are you doing between the start of the season and when you have a full arsenal? Yes, they're going to get players and they're going to try to retool, but I just think that they're going to be smart about it and they're not going to jump out the window and give him a ridiculous contract. What do you say?
Well, I say thank God for Purdy that you're not the owner of the team or John Lynch, because he'd probably walk away with maybe a small bump in pay and go up to about the $22 an hour, not a year, an hour, not 22 million a year, $22 an hour that you would end up paying him. I really think you are underestimating and I think you're doing a disservice to this man. This man has, as you already stated, which is true, we know he has surpassed his draft status in an astronomical way, right? Just shattered any expectations that anybody would have thought this kid would have had, okay? Bottom of the depth chart comes in. You and I actually had the pleasure. That could be, you even said this one day, that this could be a momentous moment for all of us going back and, later on in life, you'll be telling your grandkids how you saw Purdy, live come into a game and take over and win for the 49ers. And not only did he win that game, but he went on into it and led the team undefeated from that point into an NFC championship game, got hurt. Many people still debate the fact that the Niners most likely would have won that game. had he not gotten hurt. Okay, there was a very good chance that the Niners would have won that game. And then next year, okay, we say, well, we don't know. Maybe it's a fluke. He got the weapons around him. Everybody's healthy. You got Shanahan offense. You got a great defense. Listen, it was an anomaly, right? Kid came in. He played well. Good. Niners saw something in him, right? And they was able to take that. And maybe this kid has already maxed out. They've taken him as far as he could possibly go, which at that point was an NFC Championship game that unfortunately he got hurt in. Well, what does Purdy do? He goes all the way into a Super Bowl the next year, the very next year, not a year later, not 2 years later, not in and out, playing sporadic, gets benched, you know what I'm saying? And then comes back, like old boy in Carolina, then starts to play good again. The guy's job was never in any form of uncertainty. He is the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. He plays extremely well last year. Okay, he's even named to a Pro Bowl. And not only that, in the playoffs, in parts of those games against Green Bay and Detroit, this guy just literally puts the Niners on his back. Okay, nobody did anything outstanding. CMC was okay. Yeah, he'll get his little 5-yard touchdown run or he'll run a little screen, but nothing that way he took over the game, right? If it wasn't for Brock Purdy, particularly in that Detroit game, the Niners are not in the Super Bowl. And you get into the Super Bowl, you lose to Mahomes. Nobody's going to beat you and fault you for that. Everybody's losing to Mahomes, and they're going to lose to him again this year, right? But it's okay. But he didn't lose the game. He didn't lose the game for the Niners. Cool, collective, calm under pressure. The Mr. Irrelevant, okay? He's not a 7th-round draft pick. He is the last pick in the draft. That's you can't get any more bottom than that. And the man is playing on the most ostentatious stage ever of any sport or any event for that matter. And you would think he was in a preseason game. And the guy does very well than the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. Okay, Dak is a deer in headlights. We know what happens with Dak in playoff games. This guy's in a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship the year before that. And you mean to tell me, you talk about buyer's remorse? I don't think we would see anything like what we see here in Jacksonville, right, with Trevor Lawrence. And Lawrence, yeah, he digressed some, but I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I still think he's a good franchise quarterback. They're going to get a new coach in there, all right? It wasn't all on him, okay? And then, of course, he obviously got the concussion. We see Herbert is back now. What did that do? Coaching, right? You get these guys some coaches, they'll be able to perform like we expect them to perform.
But they have the coach, right? Arguably they have the coach, right?
No, I'm talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and other coaches. Like Herbert, too, looked like he was going to fall off. But then what happens, right? You bring in Harbaugh. Now his world changes. Now he's back to where he is.
The only problem is this. Let me just interject. Okay. With Herbert, it always seemed about coaching, right? They knew that was the issue because Staley had some questionable, clock management, decision-making down the stretch that would directly cost them games. You don't question Herbert's strength. You definitely don't question his arm, his mobility. So I don't think that's good.
You're talking about the attributes of a first-round draft pick versus the Mr. Irrelevant pick. Yeah, I'll give you that. No, Purdy is not Herbert. He's not Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. But this man has accomplished, when you look in contrast to where his draft status was, and if you're going to tell me his only weakness is in the rain, like those are things that could be tweaked, whatever you want to, but those things can be modified. right. You know what I'm saying? Those things can be modified. I'm saying it's not like he can't grow, which he needs to. I'm not saying there's no flaws in his game, as we all have them, but with coaching and development, he's going to get better. He's going to become more evolved as a quarterback. And I think the points that you're making, if I'm his agent, I will poo-poo over all of that. There's nothing you're going to tell me why you can't give this man $60 million. Now, if it's a matter of, and Purdy came out and said it's not about that money or whatever the case may be, he does want to get a deal done quickly from what's reportedly said. So if it works out where it wants to be about, obviously keeping a roster, they want to bring Debo. Debo's under contract, so they're going to keep him. They're letting your boy, I think Hargrove, they're going to end up releasing him. And so they're going to make some adjustments. Niners are a smart team, smart cap team. York and old boy Lynch, they'll figure it out. Unlike another team in Texas, they'll get it done, right? But you're going to pay this man nothing less than $55 million. I say 60.
Oh my goodness.
I'm saying 60, but he's going to at least if you think he's going to walk away with a $45 million a year contract, D, you are wilding out, bro. It is not happening.
I think that they realistically speaking,
job on the line.
Realistically speaking, yeah, that I think even more so with Shanahan's job on the line, he is going to prioritize the supporting cast rather than Purdy. Because think about it from a standpoint, the Niners have been able through the team, and I understand, I know what your counter argument will be, but let me hear this.
Mm-hmm, sure.
With the team, they have been able to have success with lesser quarterbacks than even Brock Purdy, right? Been able to get to the Super Bowl. Yes, they weren't able to win, but we can't beat Mahomes, right? But if you think about it, the quarterback position, I think the supporting cast is just as important with this particular team than it is with, other teams that the quarterback is elevating. The question that you have to ask yourself in order to, and I know there's been glimpses of him being able to elevate the team, as you suggested, they wouldn't have beat Detroit, part of Green Bay. That game, he showed flashes, but does he elevate the team? And if that is the answer is no, you can't go with $55 million. You can't.
D. The man does elevate the team. When you think about all the trash quarterbacks that the Niners have had in recent years, and even the ones that were under Shanahan, what did these guys do? They traded for Garoppolo, and this guy was the cause and the purpose and the reason as to why the Niners lost the championship game against the Rams and the Super Bowl against the first round against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Arguably, if you look at Jimmy G's record, right? Let's if we go strictly on wins and losses, right?
Yeah.
We're not. If we go on wins and losses, Jimmy G has been impressive, an impressive quarterback for the Niners.
Standing out to wins and losses.
No.
Look at playoff.
We're going to look at intangibles. We're going to look at that. I mean, his playoff record was impressive too.
I mean, he did, but it was also the reason and the cause for why they couldn't win either. To the degree that he actually lost his starting job for all intents and purposes.
Absolutely.
So so then when you put that in and you contrast that between what Purdy has done in this league, never been threatened to lose his job, never lost a game for the Niners, played well under pressure, put up very good numbers. Even this past season, he had good numbers. So he still played very well. And there's no reason why, when you compare his numbers to some of the other quarterbacks besides your Mahomes and your Allens, if you will, and Lamar, who's obviously most likely will win another MVP, right? You look at the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, it's hard to deny, D. You can't deny that this kid is playing top-level football compared to the other quarterbacks, and that's Herbert included.
I think if you look at the landscape of quarterbacks, let's just talk in the NFC, right? There has been an elevation of NFC quarterbacks, let alone the ones that you would have to face if you got to a Super Bowl on the AFC side, the ones that you mentioned, the Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the Herberts,
right.
All of them, right?
Right.
Think about the NFC. He played terrible this year, but I think that's more indicative of the coaching. You got Caleb Williams. You got Jaden Daniels. These are players or quarterbacks that you're going to have to face moving forward.
Okay. And you don't think Purdy can beat those guys? You don't think that think about it, D. If your team, and it pains me to say this, right? But I always try to be objective, right? Though I am happy that you're not in the playoffs. That is true in what you said in the opening monologue. But
I know.
D, if this kid had his players around him, like all the other players in this league have, because nobody wins alone, right? Mahomes is great, but he needs help. Everybody needs help. If the Niners didn't have the injuries that they sustained, and I'm talking about key injuries, you don't think they'll be playing today or tomorrow?
Oh, yeah,
or even next week, for that matter, if they would have won their division and had a bye, maybe, perhaps.
I think so. I think
All
so.
right, then. So then you can't compare him playing down the line these other quarterbacks that clearly have a future in NFC. You're right, right? But he's going to be just as good. If anything, they're looking up to him. He's not looking down at them. They're looking up to him. This man is accomplished. Yes, y'all didn't win last year in the Super Bowl, but this man led you into a Super Bowl. And again, his performance was solid. His ability to run an offense, his ability to play with a level of composure that you don't see guys who were picked last in the league in a draft play at this level, on that level, or that stage with that level of pressure. D, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, look, I hate the 49ers, but I can't, I can't deny.
I think that you're doing something unique that I haven't seen people do.
Which is,
you are using his draft status in the reverse, right? Most people say he's playing above because he's the last pick in the draft. You're using that against the case that he should be overpaid because
no. I'm using the case that he's got you to a championship game and a Super Bowl, back-to-back seasons. Okay, was a half a year starter, gets you to a championship game, and then he does a whole year when we really get a chance to assess him and see if it was just some anomaly or whatever have you. Well, he knocked that out the park. Forget the draft status. Forget that, right? It's, he's on the Shanahan's offense. He's a managerial quarterback. He's got all these weapons around him. Yeah, that's true. But this man, the way he is playing, D, he's not no Trent Dilfer of the Baltimore Ravens when they won a Super Bowl. He's not Brad Johnson when the Buccaneers just needed a managerial quarterback to win because we knew their defense was outstanding. Purdy is a quarterback that held his weight. He contributed in a great way. And again, he was the reason why you beat Detroit in that NFC Championship game. So, I mean,
I think the coaching, I think it was more the coach. I think it was Detroit's coach that made some
well, he stopped running
some errors that was the reason,
with you there,
right?
Yeah.
And a good team will capitalize on foolish mistakes.
And a good quarterback will do that as well. Yes, a good team, but a good quarterback capitalized it. He ran for first downs. He had big hits and big shots down the field on those third down crucial conversions they needed. And he was hitting old boy Jennings down. I mean, Jennings was the number one in that game. He was the one hitting him all day. Listen, and so like I said, D, 55 or better. North of 55. There's no way. You think he's going to walk away with 35 million, 40 million, 45 million? D, that's a disrespect. That's a disrespect.
I think
nobody would play for the 49ers if that happened.
Okay. Listen, we have so much. We got to move on. I just think he is not going to get the 50 because he is not even. We're talking accomplishments, but it's you want to set him apart from his team and use it as a quarterback accomplishment. It's a team accomplishment. He has a great team. So yes.
So overall, you taking away from him so do y'all think you'd be even as good as y'all been in these past year and a half if it wasn't for Purdy? You just saying anybody can plug and play? Because Shanahan tried plug and play and that didn't work. He had plug and play guys in there before in their quarterback. That didn't work. I'm just trying to say, why would you take away his accomplishment? Yes, it's a team game. Yes, he plays on a team full of all pros left and right. When you look around at all pro.
But he has not proven to this point that he can play if he doesn't have all of. If it's been shown that
what quarterback is what. So tell me what Mahomes would be if he didn't have an Andy Reid as a coach, and if he didn't have the weapons that he's had over the last few years to win Super Bowls. He's had good players. He has very good players, good offensive line, and he's got a good defense. Spagnola's defense is a cause and a reason also for a lot of the championship success that the Chiefs have had. You don't think Mahomes benefits from that too? Josh Allen and Lamar. So I'm saying, so everybody needs something. Oh, God, you just said it. It's a team game. But deep in your soul and heart, you are a sports aficionado. You understand team sports. You can still, though it's a team sport, make a distinction to know this guy, though, here makes a difference. This guy here makes our team better.
He works in the system. The question is, what if you lose? You have seen a small sample of if he doesn't have Trent Williams, how he plays. is his awareness. If he doesn't have a Hall of Fame left tackle, is his situational awareness at the same level? I mean, listen. We'll move on. We're going to revisit
name
this.
Your Super Bowl quarterback that didn't have at least one or two All Pros on their front line. You're not gonna find me a successful team. I don't care who it is. You got even right now. You can look right. I mean, you can go back to the days of the 70s with Bradshaw winning 4 Super Bowls. You can go into your team, Montana, and the Super Bowls y'all have won. Y'all have had All Pro offensive linemen. Dallas had them with Troy Aikman. You see them even still today. Look at the teams that are in the playoffs today. They don't have All-Pro offensive linemen. Did you see the All-Pro list that just came out? You see offensive linemen on there with teams that are in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. You got to have that. You can't knock him and say, well, we don't think you're that good because if you ain't got a Trent Williams or a CMC or whatever. Okay, well, tell that to Mahomes. See how he does without a Kelsey or maybe an Andy Reid for that matter. I mean, everybody needs somebody, D. Okay. Everybody needs somebody. You can't. I know. 55, man. Get ready. Now, if you told me, I'll say this last point and we can move on. If you told me that I don't want him to get paid that much because I feel we need to make sure we solidify contracts and keep guys around, right? What you did allude to, that we need to make sure. No, but that's not your point. No, your major argument is.
My major point is.
Your major argument is he's not that guy. He needs help.
That's not my major point.
He's a system quarterback.
My major point has been we'll be fiscally responsible and we need the players around. It's more important to have the team around him. We can't be quarterback poor. I've been saying that consistently. We can't remember, I make the reference to the Cowboys where the majority of their money or a lot of their cap is in 2 positions. And it happens to be both on the offensive side. You're giving CeeDee Lamb top market money, and Dak is the highest paid quarterback. And what has that netted your team?
No, I concur with you there, but I don't think paying Purdy $55 million a year is going to hurt the cap. Now, y'all might have to do what a lot of
I've said
you're going to kick the can.
We
down
have a
the road
lot of
like
players.
Every other team does.
We have a lot of players in the top 5. Let's say top 5 or top 10 in their position. We have the highest paid running back. Okay, so that's one position. I think Kittle's probably
who is
top
injury
5.
Prone, by the way, they may end up restructuring CMC's contract. I'm pretty sure. At some point.
But we're talking about what's paid. Regardless of
what's paid, right? But I mean, to make money and to make sure Purdy gets a contract that's according to his value.
We're doing all this for
you
Purdy.
Have to modify some of them contracts.
No, modify, but we're gonna do all of this, all alterations for just Purdy.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
You need a team around him.
D, without that man, you don't win. You got Purdy. You're going to have CMC as your backup quarterback if you ain't got nobody to play that position. Purdy is a real reason why the Niners have saw their success. Yes, CMC, Trent, Debo, Kittles, Ayuk with his one good season. You know, your defense, Fred Warner definitely lights out. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. He is the Purdy of your defense. You just paid Lenore, whatever the dude is, or whoever the other guy was. I can't remember. There's somebody you just paid your cornerback, right? You got all your key positions are filled. You got some pass rush and different things, but D, you cannot disrespect that man. I don't care. They're going to work those contracts, whatever they got to work around to make sure he gets at least $55 million. Okay. At least $55 million.
Okay, we'll see. I say
go through the draft like they did everybody else.
He gets a max. I think his max. He'll top off right below 50 max. I'm talking about absolute max. I'm really thinking 40.
They don't give him $49 million.
I'm thinking about 45. To be honest, he's in the 45 mark. Think about the quarterbacks who are playing with 45 million. Is he played as good as Baker Mayfield? I'm asking you. Is he better than Baker Mayfield?
Who, Purdy?
That's who we've been talking about. Now all of a sudden you don't know who.
No, I'm getting rhetorical because I just don't. Because I can't believe you are making that comparison. Baker Mayfield's career was almost done. He was
almost done. Almost done. But we're talking about.
Is he a better quarterback naturally in certain things? No. Baker Mayfield's a Heisman Trophy winner and a first-round draft pick. So if you're talking about just in terms of quarterbacking in a sense, no, he's not. But the man that does not take away what Purdy has accomplished. It doesn't take away. I don't think Baker Mayfield would have done what Purdy's done with that team in the Niners. because he's a turnover machine. He's going to make mistakes because he's a gunslinger like the way Brett Favre was. Purdy's way more cautious and careful with the ball than he is. What's up, Scrap?
I think Baker's
Donald wants to pay Purdy $2 an hour. He wants to give him the minimum wage, whatever the state minimum wage is in California.
We're just not going to overpay. That's all. And we're not. And believe me, listen, we're just not overpaying. And we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Let's quickly talk about these. This is a Super Wildcard weekend. And so we got a whole slate of games. He's getting 280. Okay, no problem. Scrapp's inside source said he's going to get 280 million. Yeah. Brock Purdy is really he's really going to reset the market. That's right. Whether Don likes it or not.
I'm telling you, thank you, Scrap. Thank you, man. I wish we could have Scrap on this screen so we could see Scrap. And Scrap tells you directly to your face, Donald, that 280 is what he's going to get, which is way above the 49
since he's on the show, wait till we see he's on upset alert this weekend. Okay, wait till he hears who's on upset alert. But let's quickly talk about the first game. We got 2 games today, 3 games tomorrow, and I think 1 game on Monday. Chargers in Houston. Who do you have?
I got the Chargers. I don't like the Texans. It's been hard on them. Injuries. What you call is back out again. Obviously, know if the leg injury. Herbert, not Herbert. Your boy Stroud has digressed some. But he's still a good quarterback. But they won't beat the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this one, even on the road.
I'm out of upset alerts. Okay. I like the Chargers. I think, Harbaugh made all the difference in the world. He's still confident. He has something to work with. His quarterback, who we all recognized as being a great player, just needed the proper coaching.
Yes,
I think they win. Who do you like with Pittsburgh and Baltimore? That should be
a good game. We know that the Dolphins. I'm sorry, the Ravens have had problems. Well, Lamar Jackson in particular with the Steelers, but I like the Ravens in this one. I just feel like the Steelers offense just ain't giving you enough. Their running game is not as good. They need to give the other kid more instead of Najee. The other kid I think needs to get more touches.
Jalen Warren.
Warren needs more touches. I think he's a better back. He actually averages close to 5 yards a carry. I don't know why they don't give him the ball more. But anyway, but I like the Ravens in this one. I think the Ravens and Lamar will overcome. But I tell you what, if Lamar loses this game, there's going to be a whole lot of questions. But yeah, I like the Ravens on this one.
Yeah, I do like the Ravens also. I think George Pickens, I think he's just historically, Steelers can draft wide receivers, but they all historically are head cases. They all are, at some point they become divas. And, it's all about him. Yeah. And it seems that George Pickens is a, me first type of guy, not a team first.
Yeah.
So I do like, I think they're going to get Henry the ball. Hopefully throughout the playoffs, they're able to just make sure that he gets the ball at least 20 times. I think their record is remarkable when he gets the ball 20 plus times a game. Let's talk about Denver and Buffalo. Now, this potentially is a really good game. I think, now, I've read some stupid statistic that Denver's coach, what's his name again?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton is like his winning percentage is over 700 with ball-headed coaches. I was like, come on, people will come up, yeah. And of course, Philly's coach is bald, and so. We'll see what happens. I do think Denver's defense is top notch. I think Peyton does have them playing really well. Bo Nix has been quite impressive. I don't think he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I do think that he has been, really impressive. But I would like to think that Buffalo, this is one of their best shots, given how Josh Allen has not turned the ball over. This is their best shot to probably advance. At least to the next round. What do you say?
Buffalo all day. Buffalo. Denver's a good team. They're up and coming. They'll be good. I like Bo Nix, but no, they're going to lose in this game. Yeah, but Josh is going to, he'll step up. Yeah.
Okay, Green Bay and Philly. I think This is going to be this game, and moving forward will determine if Saquon Barkley made the right decision. I know everyone looks at Zay Flowers and says, "Oh, he's injured. That's why you don't play players." A wise man once said, "Scrap said,
right.
this is why you don't play. This is why you don't play him." Let me just put Philly fans on notice. Okay. You guys don't win the Super Bowl. Listen, don't get bounced, please. Whatever you do, don't let Green Bay do what they did to Dallas last year. Please don't do that. And I know that Christian Watson is not playing, but they still got receivers. They still got a running back. They still got a really good coach. So please do not look past Green Bay. I realize that you're playing at home, you're feeling good, but if Saquon, who had an opportunity to go into the record books as the number one or the single season rushing leader, and he doesn't do that, the only thing that you can do, and I know he's a humble guy and he's team first, and y'all better get to at a minimum NFC Championship game, because if you don't, it's a failure. It's 2 losses. You lose in the record books, you lose being immortalized, and you lose because you don't win the Super Bowl. So get your act together. So I do think overall Philly wins, but I think it's a tough one. I think it's down the stretch. I think Elliott maybe kicks a field goal to win. It's not going to be a blowout. You got Hurts coming back from a concussion, right? That means some of the marbles are still loose. He is cleared, but the marbles might be, there's an opportunity. You say there's a chance, because concussions, as you get concussions, each concussion is worse. And maybe this was an opportunity for him to get really rested. I think he has a broken finger. Does he not? Scrap a broken finger or something on his hand. I don't know if it's his throwing hand or his non-throwing hand. I think it'll be interesting. But you have Saquon Barkley, and your team seems to be pretty healthy. So I think ultimately Philly will get it done, hopefully. But if they don't, they're failures with cheesesteaks. What do you say?
No, I do like the Eagles in this one. The only thing I'm looking at is Jalen Hurts. Him not running the ball, because they won't really run him now. With a concussion, they're probably not going to. Kellen Moore is not going to call a lot of plays, a lot of read options and stuff. You won't have that. This team, as good as Barkley has been, as we know, this team's success is still predicated on Hurts' legs. When he can run the ball and do what he does, this makes this team just that much more dangerous. And that's where I think that the Eagles get a little bit handicapped right there. So that's what could make this game interesting. But I'm going to tell you the difference, though, between this team and last year, the Eagles, that is their defense, man. That defense is way better. And that back end, their secondary is way better than what it was last year. So, I think they'll have a better game plan than what Dallas did, where you had guys wide. I mean, the camera couldn't even find. They were looking for a cowboy somewhere in the vicinity. Couldn't find one. You know what I'm saying? And I think with the secondary, the Eagles, much better. And I think they'll come out with a win. But it could get interesting. Hurts not running the ball is a factor. That's going to be, to me, that's what's in the balance for the Eagles this year. So, yeah.
Because
you can stop Saquon. You could actually stop. They didn't stop him when they first played this year. But you can actually neutralize him, if you will, right?
You can stop Saquon, and if Jalen Hurts becomes solely through, not because he can't run, but from precautionary reasons, becomes a pocket quarterback. Remember, he can throw the ball to the other team. Scrap. I know you think that it's impossible for him to start turning the ball over again or sack fumbles, but if he stays in that pocket too long, I think anything's possible.
Yeah. Well, Wayman's good defense too. They only give up.
They have a good defense.
Good.
Yeah, they have a good defense. Washington and Tampa Bay. I think Magic Johnson is going to send out a tweet, and that tweet is going to be, "We had a great season." I think Tampa Bay upsets Washington. I'm putting Washington on upset alert. Tampa Bay
favorite to win this game.
I I'm not sure.
Let me see. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Washington the spread is Tampa Bay -3.
Okay. So home field. So it's basically
Yeah.
they think the game is pretty evenly matched. I think that they're going to be able to run the ball, Tampa Bay. I do think that the way Baker has been playing, I think Mike Evans got $3 million in one game from that hitting all his, bonuses. I think he's going to, and Tampa Bay is playing without arguably their number one target, Godwin, right?
Yeah.
Mike Evans was a secondary, more of a possession receiver when Godwin was in.
Right.
They're playing without Godwin and still playing at a super high level. Baker makes $45 million, just for point of reference.
Right.
I do think Tampa Bay is going to upset Washington. They'll beat them. What do you say?
Yeah, they'll beat them. I got the Bucks on this one. I don't like Washington's defense. Their defense is very inconsistent. Quinn will get it right. He'll get it right next year. They'll be a lot better because one thing that man can do, he can coach defense. But yeah, they'll lose this game. They'll lose this game. I like the Bucks in this one. Bucks.
Thanks for joining us, Scrap. We appreciate it. Good luck with your game.
Yeah, Coach. No doubt, my brother. Be blessed.
All right. Minnesota and the Rams. I do think Minnesota is on upset alert. I'm giving you a bonus upset. I think at the end of the day, what Sam Darnold showed in that last game, no bueno. Yeah. He started looking like the Jet Sam Darnold, seeing ghosts and starting to getting happy feet. Justin Jefferson is arguably top 2 in receiver.
Yeah,
I saw a film where he was missing him wide open. Now, Minnesota has a really good defense, right? And I think they can put pressure on the Rams, but you got a explosive running back in Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
If you have Kupp, who is somewhat on the decline, but you got Puka Nacua, who's been balling out. I think, and of course, you have a veteran quarterback that knows he's not mobile, but he has enough pocket presence. He knows how to move enough to, avoid hits and get the ball downfield. I think the Rams are going to upset Minnesota. What do you say?
They can definitely stop the run. I think if the Rams, they being the Vikings, that is, I'm sorry, they can stop the run. I think if they can, but for the Rams to win, what's his name? Stafford is going to definitely have to sling the ball around. They got all the weapons are healthy, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's healthy in the Rams offense, as far as I know, right? Puka is playing, and you got the other little kid in there.
You got Cooper Kupp. You have Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp. You know what I'm saying? So they got, and that is in that little third.
Demarcus Robinson. Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson. I think. Look, they are home. This is crazy, right? And they're home.
Well, no, they moved to Arizona.
Oh, that's right, because of the
fires. Yes,
right, that's right. Okay, so
and our thoughts and prayers are out with everyone in Southern California.
Absolutely.
Completely devastating.
Oh man,
we won't. This is a sports show. We won't get into,
the political
a lot of the political or even kind of conspiracy theories, but it has been said that different people in certain neighborhoods have seen people, arsonists.
Well, one did get arrested. Yeah, so that
lighting fires.
Yeah,
and so this isn't just a act of God, right? This is not just a little ember that turns into a forest fire. And I mean, I don't know how many acres, how many homes have been completely decimated. These are in a lot of people's minds, man-made fires that have been started, and they're just. It's like a Bronx burning it to the ground.
Yeah.
And insurance companies have, refused or have not renewed policies.
Right.
I think that the fire department was reduced. Now, granted, I got some information yesterday about that where it was $17 million that was reduced from but that is that goes into, I think, 88 counties. So the budget for the fire department is really like, 800 million. So it's a drop in the bucket. But then there was some stuff with the fire chief and the mayor going head to head, and
the
fire chief was fired. It's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So we're praying for everyone in Southern California. It's a
especially
really difficult time.
pulling out and everything. I know they got the California Fair, something. It's a program or something that they're going to use to cover the claims and stuff.
But it has to be some type of
pulled out,
state of emergency. I'm sure FEMA is going to. But I read something where someone had a $4.5 million house.
Mm-hmm.
It burned to the ground, and they were offered $750,000 just for the land. So, in those situations, people are comparing it to what happened in Hawaii just a few years ago, where people at their pockets are deep once this is burnt to the ground. And people aren't, because some of these houses are willed. Like a lot of it could be old money where they can rebuild. Right. But if you got your great grandmother gave you this house and it's been passed down and it has this value, but you're not liquid where you could build back better, right?
Correct.
That was a little political, build back better. But you don't have the money where you can build back.
Nice slogan. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can't take credit for it. It was
That's it. It's a Don for president, Don for governor.
No, thank you. So long story short, we pray. Our prayers are with them.
Our prayers are up. Definitely.
Now that we got through all the NFL news and some geopolitical stuff, let's quickly talk about this. And this is going to be interesting. We'll finish the show with this.
Okay.
Fox Sports One has had, they hit the headlines with some really interesting details. Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, what's the guy's name? Dixon. I forget.
Dixon, the one of the executives there.
Yeah, one of the executives. There's a hairstylist. Long story short, there's a hairstylist that filed a lawsuit, a class action suit, and a lawsuit against Fox Sports. Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, Fox Sports 3, Fox Sports 4, Fox Sports 5, Fox 5, Fox 7.
Foxes in general, just
and any Fox that they say, Foxy Brown, every Fox. There is every Fox. She had a lawsuit with every Fox.
Gosh.
I think what the lawsuit alleges, right, and claims is that she was sexually harassed by Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless, she said that she was friends with Joy Taylor. They became friends. I think she was her hairstylist for a while, and she had Emmanuel Acho. Let's not forget about Emmanuel Acho, right? Too. Let's have a difficult conversation about Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho, Joy Taylor, whose brother is a Hall of Famer, played for Miami. She has been, she was initially she was on sports shows, and she was kind of pretty much the what is that, like the mediator? What was her position when she was originally on the show?
The mediator,
she was like the mediator for the debate shows,
Bayless,
and slowly but surely, she was finding her way on, doing spot starts for Colin Cowherd and Speak.
Cowherd, she was with him.
So as time progressed, this lawsuit alleges that Joy Taylor was the beneficiary of what they would call a casting couch. Okay. I won't necessarily repeat what's his name? What's the dude?
Who's that?
I forget his name. Long story short, what Joy
Taylor? You talking about the black guy? What's his name?
With peanut butter skin and all. We won't go through that.
We won't go through that.
Skip Bayless had made some inappropriate comments to this hairstylist, made some propositions. She refused them. And I think it was a matter of maybe Shannon Sharp's. No allegations were made that Shannon Sharp had any inappropriate relationships with anyone, but just Shannon Sharp is, he's a Hall of Fame athlete that is in prime, physical, his physique is he's a very hard to describe in comparison to Skip, right? Skip is just he's a journalist, someone who, kind of talks about sports. You have Shannon Sharp, who is a Hall of Fame player, very successful. There's levels to this, right? So I think there was some type of, Shannon Sharp had, the way it's alleged, Shannon Sharp was very friendly, very likable guy. And as we see his personality, he's a likable guy as opposed to Skip Bayless, who is more, kind of ultra competitive for no reason, petty in a lot of ways. So I think there was some kind of issue with that, right? And as we've seen, it kind of blew up on TV. They're no longer, working together. Now we see Skip Bayless has since left Fox Sports, and now boom, this bombshell where there were sexual allegations. Now, where Joy Taylor comes in, Joy Taylor prides herself on being, hey, I got to work harder than everybody to get the same opportunities, and I got to do this, and you know how hard it is for me as a woman, and I'm a black woman, and blah blah. She goes on and on about this. Now, to find out what the toughest and the most difficult thing for me personally, is that Joy Taylor, if that is the route that you choose to be couched to your next position, that's horrible in itself. But what the lawsuit alleges is that Joy Taylor, when the hairstylist suggested that she not deal with Emmanuel Acho and Dixon, who is an executive at the same time within the organization, she said, well, if Dixon if Dixon moves me out of this position, I'll Me Too him.
Yeah. Essentially.
And so where is all of
what she said?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Right.
Where is all of this? I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and I deserve to be here. If then, when maybe you aren't, your ratings aren't, like, no one was obligated to keep you progressing on a show. And now you have your own show, right now, Speak. And I think it puts people, women, minorities to a degree, that come behind her or the talented, and we know that the most talented doesn't always get the job, right? So we realize that. But I think if these allegations are true, it puts her in a terrible, terrible light. What do you say?
Well, it does. But I think this is the thing for me, right? Again, we all know these all allegations, right? Everything that this woman put in her filing. I think what do I believe that maybe there's some truth to some of this stuff? Yeah. I mean, if we look at the history of Fox in general, just the network itself, we saw what happened with Fox News, with O'Reilly and different other ones, and Roger Ailes and different other people that were accused of sexual assaulting women, and then obviously they were removed from their positions and so forth, right? Or payouts and different things were done. So just Fox News as an entity or the channel itself, there's always been some theme when it comes to that. So we see a little history there. My thing is this. Personally, when I think about Joy Taylor, I actually think Joy Taylor is good at what she does. I think she comes across and gives some solid takes on different things. I think she does know her sports. Does she have some?
I don't. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm not putting her in a category as some of the other folks that I really believe are really good at what they do with sports. But I do think in some aspects of what she does, I don't think she's like just totally trash. I did love her take on the whole thing with and they just showed that reel the other day when Jeff Saturday got the job and everything like that with the Colts, and how this elitist who always trumps what you can do kind of mentality.
So whenever she says those things, and his name is Charlie Dixon. I want the
Charlie
executive
Dixon,
to get a full blast too.
Right.
When you say it's who you know, and then allegedly behind the scenes, you're leveraging that same connection. All of that goes out the window. All of that goes out the window.
It does. And I think here's the thing, right? This is what I will say. I think there is some merit to, if you have a connection or something, like think about Stephen A. Smith, right? He's not where he is if Skip Bayless did not vouch for him after he got fired from ESPN. Skip brought him back. Skip liked him, and he liked him, in fairness to Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. actually was good at what he did. They just felt he was just too much. You know what I'm saying? So he brought him back, but he did benefit from somebody vouching for him right now. In that regard, that might be a little nuanced than what Joy Taylor, who has a Hall of Fame brother, who made some calls and say, hey, my sister's trying to get into this. Okay, fine. They put her in front of a screen, right? And the thing, and I'm going to make 2 quick points on this. You put somebody in front of the screen after they get an opportunity, after they were vouched or advocated by somebody. Now you got to perform, right? You got to be able to sell the audience, the executive, that you're good at what you do, right? I think Joy Taylor isn't bad. I don't think she does a horrible job, but I do think what hurts her and what gives perhaps maybe some credence, or where it's really hard to believe or not believe this beyond a reasonable doubt based on these allegations that are made, is I feel the way that she is purported on TV. You know, I like Jason Whitlock said, you know what I mean? The rack is up high. And the thing
it's always revealing. Yeah, always
revealing.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, well, why do you need to do that? And what's her name brought this point out that I thought was really interesting. The way she articulated, I thought was really good. She's a young lady now. She's on Stephen A. Smith's show now. I forget her name, Cooper. I forget her first name. Tori Cooper. She's a contributor now on Stephen A. Smith's show and everything like that. Nice young lady. She's a very attractive girl, right? For the most part, from what I've seen, the shows that she's been on with Stephen A., she's dressing, appropriate. She's not revealing. And she brought these things out, which I always thought was the problem for me, is like, it's way too much, right? Like the cleavage, sometimes if they've shown full body shots, and sometimes the women, they got, their stomachs out and different things like that. I just think it takes away. It's distracting to the viewer to try to listen and hear any level of value within the commentary that you're offering. So to me, that's where it gets. And if you think about it, and I'm just saying what I see, when you look at Fox, whether it be Fox News, Fox 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10, as you mentioned, D, they love to exploit the women. The women on those shows are always, they got the legs out, they got the boom, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, look, whatever, it is what it is. We understand.
If you have it, you have it.
If you have it, you have it, but you don't have to overemphasize it. You see what I'm saying? And it takes away from what you're hearing from that person. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, again, Joy to me is okay. I'm not saying she's great, but I've heard her make some good points. She knows her sport. She'll talk about it. I think she, like, if we sitting in a room full of dudes and we talking sports, I feel she can hold her own. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? She can hold her own. But whole thing, what she did, if she did do that, then definitely by all means, that's messed up. I don't know what the benefit was of the girl putting Joy's issues in there or her business or what she did. I'm not sure what the benefit, like, what was that for though? I don't understand, what was the need to do that?
I think it speaks to I think it speaks to the culture, right? That if these things, I think what is alleged, and I didn't read the 42 pages, but I think what is alleged is these type of things happen on a regular basis. It was brought to upper management's attention, and it was one of their own top executives is dealing with this type of stuff, and he's okay with it. So I think she's kind of
mentioned her name though. There were other names that she didn't disclose. There were some people within her report that she left anonymous. So my whole thing is you could have still brought out the issues with the culture, but I don't think you had to necessarily name her and put her name in it, because what is she, a culprit in this? People can't even identify her role in this in terms of whether she's culpable of something or is she being sued, or what's expected of her in that sense? Again, if this is all true, then shame on Joy, no doubt about it. But I just don't see the.
I think the significance of it is that sportscasters or personalities like Martellus Wiley now has a case as to why his negotiations or the money that he was offered was so low, and how he was, unceremoniously moved out of position that her and eventually what's his name, Emmanuel Acho, could get a show, and then it would spring into a solo show for her and a solo show for Acho, when clearly our Metellus Wiley has, he's
way more experienced than both of them. He's been around a long
way
time.
more experienced.
ESPN,
think about it. Emmanuel Acho's football career, I mean, he wasn't a household name. He wasn't anyone of significance. He had a 4-year career.
Show. That's about it, right?
There are also ties, and they explain how he was pretty much knighted by Oprah, and pretty much the rest is history as it pertains to Emmanuel Acho. Yeah, Acho was kind of knighted by Oprah as to be, and then opportunities present themselves. So I think her mentioning names, because it gives more significance. Off the subject for a second, we talk about all of these, let's say, Diddy allegations, right?
Yeah.
As long as they're unnamed people, it doesn't really have any teeth. Once that list comes out and you have names, it changes everything, right?
Well, right.
Then you're able to put the pieces together. So yes, putting her name on it, I think, if she partook and they partook, then yes, it needs to be aired out as to the toxic culture of pretty much a pay to play type of thing, where people are benefiting from other than their talents, skills, and abilities.
But I think she'll run the risk, though, if and I'm sure Taylor's attorneys are probably going to say, or going to probably countersue with a defamation, assassination, or defamation of character lawsuit against her as a retort. Because again, if in your example with Diddy and all the stuff, Jay-Z, all these people, right? The victim said, look, these people did this to me. Now they're explicitly naming names, events, places, environments, times, dates, whatever it might be, right? That's relative to whatever or however they were transgressed against. So they're explicit in those details, right? Now, they might say, well, this happened also to other people. There were other people in the room, or other people happened, whatever, but they don't go into that, because the only thing is that if you're not careful, when you start to add too much into that and you start pulling it out and you start going to, I think you run the risk where you could open up some doors now that when you file that lawsuit, you got to be prepared to defend and to be able to put into context why you're mentioning these people and what you're able to prove in relationship to that and how that affected you with other people. That situation with Joy Taylor, whether she slept with Aiken or what's his name? Was it Charlie? What's his name? The dude, the executive
Charlie
there.
Dixon, or I don't know.
Charlie Dixon and Acho. Right now, if she's going to mention those things, right? Because again, that's defamation of character. So when you say that, are you?
It's only defamation if it's not true,
right? But that's my point. So I'm assuming that with her putting them in there and with such explicit detail, right, that they're able to prove that this happened. So now
I would think so, right?
Right. So they're going to have to right now. But the only thing is, are you? But who are you going after? Are you going after Acho and Joy Taylor? Is it just to prove a point to what you just said?
I think it's proving a point.
Or you're coming after Fox. You see what I'm saying?
Well, she named every Fox possible, right? So I think she has a class action suit, because ultimately I think why she's adding them to it, the lawsuit, is that she was terminated. Because I think Joy Taylor, if I understand what I read correctly, she was Joy Taylor's hairstylist, but I think Joy Taylor wanted a specific hairstylist and that, catered more to her type of hair, or whatever. She wanted certain representation to be her hairstylist, and she was terminated. So maybe that's what kind of was the catalyst for her to be, hey, Joy Taylor has the power.
But see, that seems a little vindictive.
No,
I'm just saying,
but if Joy Taylor has the power to have me terminated, not because of something I didn't do correctly, but the fact of her preference, if I'm covering, it might lead to the fact that
from that, right? They just replaced her with a different hairstylist. She didn't lose a job over that.
She was terminated. She was terminated from Fox Sports.
That? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the direct result, but she was terminated from Fox Sports. I think the fact is that it may speak to the fact that Joy Taylor had a lot of power within Fox Sports, and this is the reason why. She was empowered by what she was willing to do behind the scenes.
Well, see,
and so that creates an imbalance because everybody, and we know it doesn't happen.
Well, then that makes sense, right? If what you're reporting based on what you heard, you got that information from, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, right, and then we see the I guess the correlation of her intent, right? Mm-hmm. Then it makes some sense. So you're bringing Joy Taylor out to show how she was empowered by doing the things that she did with these men, and as a result of that, it resulted in my job loss, right? So then, okay, maybe I could understand that in that sense. I'm just saying, and of course, everybody's nitpicking out of the 42 case report.
And of course, remember this. Stuff, right? Remember this. Also, the getaway driver is just as guilty as the bank robber. That's number one. Number two, when you have these major lawsuits, discovery, all of this stuff is it causes. So if I say alleged crime was committed in said room and Rod was sitting right there, right? You might not be the object of what the charges are directly, but now your whereabouts, you're going to have to be accountable for where you were. Well, based on your cell phone record, it pinged that you were within a 3-block radius of where he said. So we don't have so I say all that to say, by putting people's names in it, it starts opening up small and larger Pandora boxes that they're going to have to. So it starts to muddy the water.
Credibility too, though. I think if they got good defense lawyers, or even Fox for that matter, or whether it be Joy Taylor or Acho that's going to somewhat try to defend their name, which I'm sure that they will. Right, I think you're going to.
No statement was made. You don't think that was no statement from either one of them? And I don't.
Well, because they're getting legal counsel. That's why they're putting their case together. Because trust me, they're not going to let that stand. Because now their name is a mud. Their name's a mud. You know what I'm saying? So
have you seen Speak since the allegations? Joy Taylor's wardrobe has changed. She must have hired. She's still doing the show, and Acho's still doing his show. But they seem a little.
Her wardrobe has changed now, right?
Very.
She's looking like a nun. Right?
She has a turtleneck on, and isn't this show shot in California? So she has changed her wardrobe, and her normal. She has a normal bravada, if you will. If you've seen humble. Her show, she's very measured and humble. Watch the show. Watch the show. Watch the show since the allegations came out.
Okay.
No flesh. No flesh is seen. There's no flesh. Just her fingertips. That's all you see. Right. Fingertips and forehead. That's all you see. There's nothing extra seen. Right.
The whole Islamic garb on.
Right. What is that called? I forget what it's called.
I forget what they call it. Yeah. I forget what they call it.
But and so I think.
Oh wow! They know that.
Although they haven't made any official statements, and not that you need major legal counsel just to make a 3-sentence. The allegations are absurd, and I look forward to our time in court. Period. But the fact that if someone made allegations about you, you would at least. We're going to have our time in court, clearly, because it's
maybe she hasn't, or maybe they haven't decided to take any legal action against the woman. So I don't know. Now, if they come out and say, well, we, vehemently repudiate these allegations that were made, these allegations were made in the court filings of this such and such woman against Fox Sports or whatever, and they come out and just say, these things are untrue. They did not happen. And that's it. To your point, yeah, they could say that, but I think they are really trying to prepare something legally. Now, if they don't have any legal intentions against this woman and they're just going to let that ride, which again, I don't think that they will, then I think it's going to be a situation where they're going to have to then, they're
going to have to address it. No way around it.
And Fox is going to benefit from that too, because I'm sure the ratings for those shows, because Fox Sports, their shows are horrible. Their sports shows are bad. So I mean, listen, they probably got a lot of good viewership since then.
Well, people are watching.
So they're hoping that they'll say something. Yeah,
right. And then the other thing is, real quick, Skip Bayless, $1.5 million offering to said hairstylist to have a romantic encounter. Allegedly, I think that Skip Bayless, the fact that he abruptly just left Fox Sports, his ratings were in the can.
So it was done.
It was terrible. And after Shannon Sharp left, clearly it was the show was
horrible. And Michael Irvin and Keyshawn and Richard Sherman. I mean, oh my! And then he's trying to moderate the show at the same time.
Yeah, it was too much talk. They were over talking, and he was a lot of times just sitting there. But I just want to say this one thing, because Michael Irvin is on speak. It's him, Keyshawn, and Paul Pierce, right?
Oh, Paul Pierce. Oh God.
So it's just the misfits of Fox Sports. They put all together. Right. I just want at one point, because Michael Irvin has this new look, right? I want them at any time during the show just to pan around and catch the top of his head. And because all of that ball spot is not going anywhere. Listen,
anywhere, bro. It ain't going anywhere.
You can twist and shout and do all type of stuff to all of this. But when you come around to this part, the camera made a mistake one time and spanned around to the back of that head.
I haven't even seen it. What he got a low? What's he wearing now? What he sporting? A low?
He
cut?
has like
that afro he was working with. That was
he doesn't have the conservative fro anymore. He has it more like little twists.
The twists and stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah.
But this
is still right.
Sunroof is still sunroof is
that's horrible, bro.
He's trying to twist it. It's
Mike, let it go, man. Oh, come on, Irvin. Just let it go, man.
But I mean, he's actually looking pretty good. He's been pretty stylish on the show.
He's still on NFL Network, right? He's still on there.
I think so.
He's still on NFL Network, so he does a good job with them.
Yeah, he does good
because it's a better produced show. That show is way produced better than their game day show is far better produced than what.
And can I just say this, and we can close out.
Okay.
The reason that Acho or Joy Taylor not making, or Skip Bayless for that amount, for that matter, have not made any responses, it seems somewhat where there's, I don't want to say where there's smoke, there's fire, that the target was hit, right? Mm-hmm. Is because when Michael Irvin had those allegations, right?
Right.
When he was at the hotel and the woman said he said something to, he immediately addressed it.
Yeah, he did.
NFL Network made a determination and suspended him, right?
Right.
He had to have his time in court because these allegations from Fakari or whatever her name is, the hairstyles, it ain't going away. Yeah. But if someone makes an egregious allegation against you, I think you have an obligation, number one, to defend your name, to speak up. If it's totally false and these are all fabricated, why wouldn't you at least even a statement that was presented by your attorney?
With Skip, though, right? I mean, this is Skip's first time. This is we've never heard these things before. Michael Irvin, look, he had no latitude. If he got a speeding ticket, they was gonna let him go, right? Because of his history. So he you know, he's been fired from just about let go from almost every show he's been on because of
Well, Skip,
indiscretion.
there's history of Skip being cantankerous and
those things, right? But nothing like of this magnitude, a sexual assault, any type of thing. Yeah. So
you don't even actually get that from Skip. You don't even know what Skip is. Like I was,
Stephen A said, "Ain't no way." He said 1.5 million.
Right.
He said Skip is cheap as he is.
Right. And so him and his wife, I think they have a podcast together. It was just Skip, but now he has his wife on the podcast a lot now. Okay. And they have done shows since the allegations, and I don't think they've addressed it.
Wow.
But you know, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll see, man.
And Lil Wayne, his boy, he's supposed to be his best bud. Nobody say nothing. Yeah.
Ain't nobody. Snoop, none of them that have been on the show.
There's an allegation that Skip had said to this hairstylist. She was saying she had told Skip allegedly, "You're married."
Yeah, and then he
said to her that your father's Muslim. He had 3 or 4 wives.
Yeah.
So and then she had to say that, you know, unfortunately, I don't know if it was true. Her father had passed, and it kind of ended the subject or ended that particular pursuit that day. So time will tell.
Time will tell.
They said that allegedly Shannon Sharpe had something to do with all of this stuff being leaked to get people back for how they treated him at Fox Sports. Yeah, I don't know how true that is. Shannon did say and denied that he had said, we have nothing to do with it. He had nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. We'll see what happens, man. But Rod, good show, man.
Good show.
Brock Purdy is going to get $29 million a year.
Brock Purdy, 55.
You know what? 55, we got through this whole show and we didn't even talk about Mike McCarthy's coming back next year.
We sure enough didn't. And we
love that. You love that
show because
you love that. Mike is coming back.
Mike's coming back.
Once they said he couldn't talk to no one, he couldn't talk to Chicago about the head coaching job. Yeah, Mike McCarthy. Yeah, they should pay Mike McCarthy $70 million. I agree with you. They should pay him $70 million. I think he's a good coach.
I like that. I think he might $70 million for Brock Purdy.
No, he's talking about Mike McCarthy because that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about Mike McCarthy, and he said $70 million.
No, $70 million for a quarterback.
Mike McCarthy. No, 7 years, $10 million.
7 years.
Mike McCarthy told you in the press conference, I'm a winner. Look. And Jerry Jones said, yeah, he is a winner. Let me lock him down for the next 7 years. $10 million a year for $70 million.
You know what? You might even be right because Jerry always intended to bring him back because he wants to win his way. And if he has Mike in there, that's Jerry's way of winning. So anybody else coming in there, it's not going to happen. Yeah, he's a winner. Yeah. So he does have a Super Bowl.
Well, we appreciate everyone.
Thank y'all for jumping on, man.
Watching us. Rod, good show.
Good show there,
Pete. To you. Shout out to Scrap. Good luck with the Eagles.
Scrap, I tell you, boy, he's gonna get a lot of eyes. He's gonna get a lot of eyes.
If I see Love throwing off of his back foot 70-yard bombs, off his pinky toe, come on.
That's it.
I don't want to hear nothing.
Listen, he gonna get a whole lot of eyes in the chat, boy.
And Hurts better not turn that ball over.
Hurts turn that ball over, boy.
Yeah,
bro.
Once again, thanks everyone for joining. It's gonna be a good football weekend. A few hours, we got our first game. Thanks for joining. Until next time, everybody. Peace.